Hello, my name is Amy Jackson, and I'm director of the Perch here in Aurora. Thank you so much for joining me. We had some technical difficulties with our Zoom meeting earlier, and so I wanted to walk through the craft and some of the ideas with you, but obviously I'm now alone. No one is with me anymore, so I wanted to let you know that. I apologize up front for anyone who was trying to log in and was having some trouble. It looks like Zoom was having some issues, and so I'm on it. But in the meantime, I wanted to make sure that I could get the instructions to you and some of the ideas to you. So thank you so much for joining me for this. If you aren't aware, the Perch is a soul care organization in downtown Aurora. We are located on Downer Place in a large brick building called the Aurora Business Center, 31 West Downer. And we provide all sorts of different retreats, workshops, seminars, classes, as well as meaningful and inspirational gifts. And so I'm so glad that you are here tonight. Last year for Cocoa Crawl, it was really fun to be able to host lots of people to come and sip hot cocoa with us here, and then also make a really fun magnet craft. I have two little girls, and I know I am a huge fan of First Fridays. And those cold winter First Fridays can sometimes be a little bit crazy with little ones. And so I was happy to be able to provide a warm space for people to come and sit down for a little bit and do a kid-friendly craft and enjoy some hot cocoa. And so I was really looking forward to doing that again this year, and obviously with everything different. But I am really excited to be able to offer something that you can do in your home and still get to hang out a little bit and still get to do a craft. So I am actually, in honor of Cocoa Crawl, I'm out of my own Perch mug, but they're very similar mugs, drinking some decaf coffee because I'm living life, man, and some cocoa peppermint almond creamer. This is just from Trader Joe's, but I would highly recommend it to you. Anyway, so having some of that tonight, and I hope that you have a fun drink with you as well. So you should have gotten an email from us with the subject line, your downloads are ready. And in that email, you should have had a link to download a PDF that looks like this. And this has all the supplies you need, the Zoom link that was, for our meeting, and anyway, and the actual template itself. So you definitely need this to do your craft, print it out. And the first step is to cut out the template. And so just, cut it out, as simple as that. This is actually what you will use to trace onto whatever paper you have. So I'll give you a minute to start cutting that out. The beautiful thing about a recording too is that, if you need to pause at any point because we're going ahead, please feel free to do that. But just to give you a couple of kind of inspirational ideas, I've got several different luminaries back here behind me. I'm making one that's polka dot red in just a minute. I've got these really cool, I just got all these at Michael's, but like a glittery gold. There's this shiny gold that's kind of fun. This one has holly berries. I did notice that they need to be non-directional prints for them to work well. So it can't just be candy canes going up and down. They would need to be more kind of sporadic looking. So like this. It cannot be a directional stripes. Otherwise it will look really weird on your luminary. So just heads up. So you'll need paper. You'll definitely need a pen or pencil, scissors, glue, any type of glue, glue stick, glue, regular school glue. I like to use these glue runner things. That's fine. A hole punch and a tea light, a battery tea light. These cannot be used with real fire. All right. So once you've got it cut out, your template, you'll need to trace it onto whatever paper you're using. And I do want to let you know a really important step here is when you trace it, make sure you also trace the fold lines, which are these kind of triangle lines. Otherwise, if it's just plain like this, you're not going to know where to fold. So it's really important to have the lines. A couple of ideas for doing that. You could just what I did was just use the edge of a paper and line up the things and draw a line. You could, one person in our meeting tonight said she put pencil on all of it, flipped it over, and then rubbed it or traced over it again. And then that transferred the pencil lines down. You could also, if you have a ballpoint pen, you can lay your template over your paper and just push hard on those lines and it'll come through as creases. So make sure you do that. So while you're doing that, I wanted to talk with you about a few things to help bring more light to the holidays. You know, I think it's so cool this time of year that so many different traditions, religions, you know, holidays, they all have to do with bringing light into the gloominess of life. And, you know, obviously with the shortest days of the year coming up really, really quickly, the darkest days of the year, it's really wonderful to be able to focus on the light and bringing brightness to gloomy spaces. And if there were ever a year that we needed light in the holidays, I think it's this one. But at the same time, a lot of our holiday traditions just aren't going to be this year and can't be. And so there's real grief there, real loss and real sadness. And so tonight I just wanted to talk a little bit about how do we actually bring more light to the holidays this year, because we desperately need it. So I've got a couple of ideas for you while you're cutting out your tracing and cutting out your template on your piece of paper. So the first thing that I would suggest is really leaning into things that bring you joy. So, you know, if you love decorating your house for Christmas, if you love, you know, putting out holiday lights on the front of your house or in our yard, or putting up those giant inflatables, like do it and lean into it and do it unapologetically. I think this is a wonderful year to just lean into those things that really truly do bring us joy. And I think sometimes they don't have to be big things. They can be really small things that we do. One thing that I have started doing that's actually been really meaningful to my life during pandemic life is I actually got a $6 frother from Target. And I use I have started an afternoon coffee ritual that around 2 o'clock, 2:30, I make a cup of coffee. I get out some, you know, tasty creamer, whether I love this cocoa peppermint one. I have this snickerdoodle one that I really like. Anyway, put a little bit in a cup, use this frother. It froths up crazy big, looks amazing. It totally changes your cup of coffee. It takes a couple of seconds. It's super easy and totally worth the time. And it makes it feel like something really special. And so, you know, if you're doing hot cocoa, do it big, put the peppermint stick in there, put whipped cream on top, like make it big, make it fun in these little ways, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Lean into it. The second thing I would tell you to do to bring more light into the holidays this year is to give yourself permission to stop doing the things that don't bring you joy. Oh my goodness, everything is off the table this year. Anything goes. And so if there are traditions that you feel like you have to do every year, oh my goodness, if there were ever a year to stop those things, this is the year. If there's something that you do that doesn't bring you joy, brings you more anxiety, this is a year to say, hey, should we continue that thing? Is there space for us to stop this thing or to start something different, or, you know, just to not do it altogether and just do less? This is the year to adjust and be creative and think about what you do want to do and what you don't want to do. The third thing that I would say to bring more light to the holiday season is to really give yourself a minute, give yourself permission to pause, to feel the hard stuff, to let yourself breathe. We are going through so much right now, mentally, emotionally. Our bodies are holding so much stress right now. And so give yourself permission this holiday season, especially, to just be, to feel your feelings, to grieve, to be mad, to be sad, whatever it is. I know sometimes we feel this, like we have to be super holly jolly the whole Christmas season, the whole holiday season, the whole Hanukkah season, whatever it is. And we forget that sometimes that's not where we're at, and that's okay. We are humans, and humans experience a wide range of emotions. And this year we should be feeling sad and mad and angry and all the things. Those are perfectly viable things to be feeling this year, acceptable things to be feeling this year. And so I think sometimes we forget that the only way to get through those hard things is to actually allow ourselves to feel them and deal with them and then move on. So if you need a minute to cry, if you need a minute to stomp your feet and say, man, I wish it weren't this way, do it. Give yourself permission. That is the only way through. And then the fourth thing that I would suggest in bringing more light to the holiday season is to make sure you're connecting with people and real people. You know, in our social media world, it's really easy to feel like we're connecting with a lot of people if we're commenting or sharing or liking. But I really encourage you to make some real connections this year and this holiday season, and to be creative. There's a lot of ways we can't meet with people right now, but there's lots of ways we can. And so I just wanted to give you a couple ideas that maybe you haven't thought about, but just to give you a couple of ideas. So one thing is to do a Zoom meeting with friends or family and to actually do something together. So something like this where you're making a craft or you're cooking or you're playing a game or enjoying something together. There's something more natural about when we're doing something together, even if it's virtually, because it mimics what we would actually do in person. You know, we'd be cooking and they'd be standing with us in the kitchen and talking, or we would be playing a game together, or we would be enjoying drinks together, whatever it is. And so do those things, but just do them together virtually. I saw someone had a really fun idea that she said, do a side swap for like Christmas or a holiday dinner of some kind, that, you know, each person makes their own entree, but then each person is responsible for one side. So maybe you make the I don't know, the mashed potatoes. And then you just make a huge batch of them and put them up into separate containers and deliver those, or different casseroles or whatever you might make for your holiday dinner. And I think it's so cool too, because we could see different people, different backgrounds, different cultures. And that's really fun to be able to share that with our neighbors or with our friends. Anything that you can drop off to someone and know that you'll get to see them in person, even briefly on the front porch, is such a blessing to actually see people in real life. Someone else had the idea of doing a cookie decorating thing over Zoom, but making sure that everyone had the cookies. So having a little goodie bag that had the cookies already cooked and the supplies, and dropping them off, and then doing a Zoom meeting together so you can actually decorate and share your ideas with each other. I thought that was really fun. Another person said they were doing a lot of care packages or sending things or dropping off homemade things to neighbors or friends, just to have an excuse to get out of the house and say hello to someone, even briefly outside. Speaking of being outside, I know it's cold, but if you can get outside and meet someone for a walk, or do something even just briefly outside, that can be such a huge lift to our spirits. And obviously, you know, sending gifts, sending inspirational gifts. We have lots here at the Perch, but there's lots of great gifts and gift ideas out there. Sending a homemade card or just a really, you know, handwritten card is really, really lovely, especially. So lots of ways that you can connect with people, even during these kind of strange times. All right, so I'm gonna guess you have it all cut up. So I wanna tell you the next step. So the next step is to actually fold your paper, and again, write on those lines and make sure you fold all the tabs as well. So I'm just going to fold these up. I will say I've done these with regular paper and with like cardstock or thicker paper. They all work. I do think that the cardstock, like the thicker paper, it kind of stays a little bit better, I think. But honestly, they're small enough that even the thinner paper works really, really well. So I did actually cut up, I traced a vellum one. It's like a sheer translucent kind of paper. So I'm curious to see what that looks like, but I haven't cut it up yet. All right. So what you'll find is as you start folding, here we go. It will start to just kind of come together in shape, and it will make a four-sided pyramid or a tree. So the next step will be to decorate it. And depending on how you're decorating it, you may find that it's easier to do when it's flat. You may find it's easier to do if it's all together. One of the little girls on our call or on our Zoom meeting a little bit earlier decorated it by cutting out little intricate designs and coloring it and stuff like that. So do whatever you want to do to it. I suggest poking some holes in it with a hole punch. And you may recognize that a hole punch isn't going to reach very far. And so what you can do, what I found is you can fold this in half. You can even fold it again like this. So if you can just see, I kind of folded it all up. And then you'll be able to poke holes. Your hole punch should reach on the sides and the top. So I'm going to do that really quickly. I have kind of a big hole punch thing, so it'll be really fast. But just, yeah, poke some holes. So you'll see I kind of, went from the side, went from the side, went from the side, went from the side. And then when I unfold it, all the holes are punched. All right, so if you did that, you'll have to kind of refold to the right shape again. But okay, so you should have something that looks like this now. You've got this kind of square, these 4 triangles that are folding in together, and then you've got this long tab on the end here. So this long tab is the only one that you actually have to glue down. The rest actually will hold in place if you'd like. You can also, for extra kind of stability, you can glue those in. So I'll show you that in a second. But this is the only part that you will need to do. And it's actually when you fold it down, so you can see the color. This is the side that you'll want to put the glue on, and then this will actually just fold right over it. I'll show you this way. Like that. So one trick here is that you may have trouble folding this in because this edge is a little bit wide. And so what I do is I literally just kind of trim, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second here. So there we go. I just trimmed this to make it a little bit less wide there, and then it should fold in just fine. All right, so you're going to put your glue on the colored side of this tab. I'm going to do that now. And again, any glue will work. Glue stick, school glue. If you don't have glue, you could even use some Scotch tape if you want. I have like a glue runner, so or a tape runner, so I just did that. Anyway, so when you bring it together, it's literally just kind of putting that behind the other side. Dun, 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 dun. And now you have kind of a little pyramid shaped box. So these tabs just fold under, and then this folds shut. So the last thing that you'll have to do is to make room for the little tea light. There's a couple of ways to make the space for the tea light. So I'm going to show you. So one way to do it is I just drew an X here and kind of poked through with my scissors. And then what you'll find is I have these tea lights that I just got at Michael's. They have a plastic light. And so I just poked that through and it'll hold just like that. The other way to do this is to cut a hole in the bottom. So again, before you fold it up, just cut a hole there. And then when you close it, the light will fit right inside there. So there's 2 options there, whatever you feel more comfortable with. But just wanted to let you know there's 2 options. Okay, so I'm going to do that because I didn't do that yet. So for this, you can see I have nothing on there. I'm going to draw a little X. I just think that's easier. I'm going to poke through with my scissors, just kind of poke through. All right, so you can just hold it just like that. You don't have to glue anything else. You can stick your tea light right through. This is thinner paper, so you can tell it kind of a little more fragile. There we go. For extra stability, if you want to glue that shut, you absolutely can, but there's just a little tea light for you. So you can see I've made quite a few of them, and they're going to be all around my house in just a little bit here. But you can make them with all different papers, and they're super easy to make. Kids can make them. So I hope that you enjoy making that. Again, I'm so thankful that you joined me tonight to make these little luminaries and talk about how to bring more light to the holidays. I wish we could have joined live, and so I apologize for the technical difficulties on that end. But I would love to see you. A couple of opportunities for you to come out to the Perch. We, as I said, we are doing lots of retreats and workshops. We actually have a January retreat coming up, a New Year's retreat that I'm going to be posting about very soon on our website. That will be on January 2nd. It's a virtual thing, so you can find out all about that very soon. We also do our pop-up shops, as I said, every Saturday morning from 9 to noon at our location at the Perch, which is 31 West Downer Place, and we're on the 3rd floor, Suite 301. And we've got lots of inspirational gifts, meaningful gifts, and necklaces and candles and books and all sorts of great stuff. So feel free to stop by. As always, if you are not comfortable stopping by, we actually offer local pickup and curbside delivery. So you can order directly on our website, select local pickup, and come Saturday between 9 and noon, and I'll bring it down to your car. So when you order local pickup, you'll see the directions will be sent to you on how to do curbside. So I hope to see you, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday season.